No one's showing up to your listing and be like, wow, hey, hon, look at this. Look at this sign in the front of the house that we came to see. Isn't this amazing? Look at this.
Somebody really put a lot of time and effort into this. I can
At
tell.
least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks of time into this sign. Welcome back, boys and girls, to the Tactical Agents Podcast. I am Mike Edwards. I am joined, as always, by Chris Fisher. And who are we? We're two experienced real estate agents that are former police officers, and we think there is a better way to do real estate, a tactical way instead of the traditional way. And if you enjoy the content that we put out in this podcast, our approach, then we want to hear from you. We want to connect with you. If you are, our mission is to help 10,000 first responders and veterans change their lives through their own real estate business. And so if that is you and you want to start and discover how we can help you through the 10-7 project, or if you are already in this business and you want to figure out a different way to do it, you want to approach it differently, you resonate with our message, then let's talk. Let's see how we can help you in your business, whether that's joining us on our nationwide team as part of our project, or whether that's just helping coach you through your business and its direction. We're open to all that. So visit 107project.com, TEN7project.com, and you can easily get connected there with us, and we would love to meet you. What's going on in your life, Chris?
Oh, just hanging out, trying to sell some houses.
Yeah, I just closed on 2 last week. Another listing appointment last night, and got some other stuff on the horizon with some listings and some a potential new build project. I've got my first client ever interested in a barn dominium. So
Nice.
I have never been a part of a barn dominium build, and so that'll be a new
A barn dominium sounds like my paradise. Like, put me on like 80 or 100 acres with a barn dominium with a huge shop and maybe a couple bedrooms. I would be happy, man.
Yeah. I don't think barn dominiums are a thing in the Phoenix area, are they?
No, not so much. But
Maybe you need to convince your wife to move back to your roots, you go
my
back
wife
to the
is
south.
My wife is a city girl, so I don't know that I mentioned it the other day, and she said, because when we were first, dating or whatever, the option of her moving to Alabama came up, and she said, "Yeah, that offer's expired. I've got you here now."
But it never was on the table. Exactly. Yeah, I get it. I could live in either context. I grew up mostly country for the first half of my life, and then kind of turned suburban city from there on out. So I could live in either context. I do prefer less driving. I'm not a big fan of long drives for a day-to-day thing. So
Don't ever move to Phoenix.
yeah, well,
Phoenix is an hour and a half away from Phoenix.
no, Houston is 2 hours away from Houston. That place is wild, 600 some square miles of a city, and it's like, yeah, we have friends in Houston. We all live in Houston, but we don't see each other until every few months, because it's 3 hours with traffic to get from southwest to northeast side. It's like, oh yeah, no thanks. But so if you're a realtor in those markets, congrats. You must have fun driving all over the place. But all right, let's. That's enough of our life updates. Today we want to talk to you about 3 lies that realtors tell themselves. You posted this in one of our groups the other day, and I thought, oh man, this is good. This is a podcast episode right here. This will preach. So, without further ado, I'll say the lie, and you talk to me about kind of what was going through your head with these. The first one is that busy equals productive.
Yeah, that one's a hitter, right? Like, it's so many agents spend so much time doing busy work that makes them feel like they're accomplishing something, and they're really just not. Like you think about like what's the word I'm looking for? Like appropriate application of force, right? People put all their energy into things like, like I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking to me about their signs, and they were like, "Should I put a headshot on it? Should I do this?" And I was like, "Nobody cares. No, nobody cares. Your mom doesn't even care. Nobody cares what your sign looks like. Just get the boilerplate template that your brokerage provides and use that, because nobody cares." And they were like, "Well, I've been working on this for like 2 weeks," and I was like, "Why?
2 weeks?
It doesn't help." Yeah, 2 weeks. I was like, how does that help you sell a house? It doesn't, right? If you would have taken that same amount of effort that you spent, and granted, people say they work on things for 2 weeks. What did they really do? They watched Netflix all day and, fooled around on Facebook, did all that nonsense. And then for about 5 minutes, they were like, "Oh, what if I put this letter here?" That's how you work on a sign for 2 weeks. But if you would have taken all that and condensed it down to going and meeting more people, that would translate to deals.
Yeah.
Your sign, like what a sign sell, 3% of houses, probably less than that now. The last study I saw was like 92% of houses were found, that are sold or sold on the internet. I think it's probably more like 99.999 now.
Yeah, it's
like nobody's driving around looking for signs.
No, signs are like, they just make that last step to the house when they turn the corner down a street. Like, oh, there it is. Like, instead of having to stare at the numbers on the house, like they're like, oh yeah, I see the sign. And they don't get out of their car and then stand there and admire the sign. No one like no one's showing up to your listing and be like, "Wow, hey, hon, look at this sign in the front of the house that we came to see. Isn't this amazing? Look at this."
Somebody really put a lot of time and effort into this. I can
At
tell.
least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks of time into this sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when I saw that, I think, like, because I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, of course, I'm gonna find a way to bring this up in any podcast that I do, right? Like so if you're a rolling realtor, give me a shout in the comments. Like, if you do real estate and you roll on the mats, like, I wanna get to know you. You're my people. But one of the principles there is, that appropriate action, appropriate use of force, right? Where am I spending my energy? And a lot of times what happens is when new people come in, you'll get a guy that comes in that's like, he's 205, benching 250 for reps. He's a gym rat, whatever he is. Like, he's a man's man. And then you just put him with this 150-pound kid that's been training for a few years, and this massive dude can't touch this kid. Like, this kid's like toying with him like a cat with a ball of yarn. Like, he can just do whatever he wants. And it's because that kid has learned how to be effective with his movements and his energy. And instead of like trying to use all the muscular strength, you understand the power of levers and mechanics, and it makes a difference. And in the real estate business, it's like, what really moves my business forward? What are the activities and the things that really actually generate income versus just make me feel like I was busy? Like, oh man, I had a couple of hours, and yeah, I was working on my sign design, or I did a little. I attended this little luncheon from the title company on how the title process works. Like, like, oh yeah, I had a meeting today, man. It was like really, really good. Like, but you met nobody. You had no conversations. You connected with no potential clients. All you did was amass information that you only need if you have a client. So it doesn't help you do your main thing in business, which is to connect with people in a way that you can invest in them and ask for business.
Yeah, and then you get like the whole like happy hours or going to the office and just, BSing with other realtors all day about, their day. Like, those people, it's good to be, a good colleague and to know people, and it helps to have relationships. But when you spend your working time on that all the time, they're never going to refer you business. You're in the same market. They're not going to hand you a client. Like, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's one of the great mysterious things that has developed in the real estate world is they have taken what is an entrepreneurial adventure, right? That's what being in when you're in real estate, you own your own business. And too many people treat it like they're an employee at their broker or their office, their team, like they're an employee. And then there's like this, like, oh, we got team building exercises where we go out and we go golfing and we do all this stuff. It's like, none of these people are creating clients for you. Like, they're not making connections for you. Like, going golfing and doing 9 holes in the morning with other agents. Yeah, again, it's not bad to have a good rapport with your fellow agents in the area. It can be a tremendous advantage, and I think it should be an aspect of your business. But this idea that you go to the office and you have to be there a certain amount of time, and then the brokers know this and they capitalize on this by then positioning themselves as your boss or creating an office environment with expectations there. And the reality is that you are a business owner and you need to take command of your business and choose to do the activities that are going to actually be productive. And what is productive? It is something that ultimately leads to revenue. And if you are not doing activities that will ultimately generate revenue, what are you doing besides being busy?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, next lie you listed was that you must appeal to everyone. This is good. What do you mean by that?
All right, so the biggest regret I have in the real estate business is when I first started running a big team. I think we probably at the time had 20 or so agents on the team, and I was telling them all how to be successful in social media, and it was basically just, be vanilla, be bland, don't say anything that might offend somebody, don't say anything and when I look back on that, I see the ignorance in the advice that I was giving them at the time.
Yeah.
And the reason is you can't appeal to everyone, right? There without being disingenuous. And if you're being disingenuous, it comes off. People realize that you're not who you say you are, and they don't trust you. Mm-hmm. So the biggest piece of advice that I can give anybody, and the thought of appealing to everyone makes sense from a business perspective. Like, oh, you want to have the widest pool of clients that you can have. And, the truth of the matter is, if you run your business that way, you're not going to like the people you work with. They're not going to like you. It's going to be harder to get them to trust you because they're going to feel like you're a fake person and you're not genuine.
Yeah.
And then trust is so key. I mean, we're talking about the biggest purchases that somebody will make in their entire life, and you're asking them to trust you with it, but you're not being trustworthy because you're not being authentic and genuine about who you are. Mm-hmm. So when you can be more authentic and be who you are, a couple different things happen. One, they're going to trust you more because you're telling them who you are and showing them who you are. And that genuineness just appeals to people. Two, you're going to work with people who are like you, right? And when you work with people who are like you, you enjoy it more because you have things in common. You like the same things. You listen to the same music. You like the same jokes. You have the same motivations and the same desires, and it just makes for a better experience for everybody involved. And then the third thing is they know more people like them, and they're going to introduce you to more people who fit who you're looking for as far as personality and motivations and things that make your experience better and their experience better. They're going to introduce you to more people who would see the world the same way and compound on that, I guess.
Yeah. I I'm big on telling people that you need to pick a people or a place. And I don't know if there's a mix of that, but for me, especially early on in my business, I was making the transition out of law enforcement at the time. So for me, it was very people centric. It wasn't focused on a geographic area or a place. It was very much a people. And so it didn't matter if they were 2 hours away or if they were 2 minutes away. If they were my people, right? Like I was there to help them. Like I was going to figure it out. And that was like my appeal is like, hey, I want to help first responders. I want to help veterans. That's my people. And so that was the messaging. That was, I guess, how I presented myself is really wanting to be an advocate for that person as a client. Or you can focus on a place, right? Like you could say like, hey, this is my geographic area. I want to know this place inside and out. I want to know every business owner. I want to know the city council members. I want to know the people in the building department. I want to know the city inspectors. Like, I want to be I want to run this town, whatever that is, like that place. And I'm going to make content about this and I'm going to know it inside and out. And I want people, if they want to move from here or move to here, I want my name in that hat, pick a people or pick a place. And if you can do both, that's even more laser focused. If you could focus on a people in a place, now that's some laser precision right there. But usually, that's a lot of skill development over time to be able to do that. But so think about that, guys. If don't appeal to everyone. Don't take a shotgun approach to your business. Take a rifle approach. Are we going to get banned on YouTube for even saying the word rifle? I don't know.
Maybe.
But nevertheless, you get what I'm saying, right? Take a focused approach. You can't be everything to everybody, and it'll wear you out. It'll wear you down. And so, try to save yourself the time by taking that piece of advice. The last lie that you said was you have to be available all the time. And this is, wow, this should be smacking a bunch of rookie realtors right in the face about like, wait, I don't have to be available at 11 p.m. on a Saturday or during my kid's birthday party.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny to watch realtors talk, right? Because you get in, there are people that have figured it out, but there are people that haven't. So if you're in any of the Facebook groups, and I know you left all of them because they're ridiculous, but I still like them for entertainment value. And I'm watching people say, no, you have to be available all the time. Do you know of any doctors who won't take a call? Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah.
There's not a single doctor in the world that will take your call at home at 7:00 on a Tuesday night. Not a single one of them. And they're thinking, well, you go to the ER and there's a doctor there. Yeah, because that's when they're supposed to be at work. Like
they're there on schedule. That's
right.
They're at work during those hours. Exactly.
Yeah, you're not calling your primary care physician at 2 a.m. on a Saturday because you've got a hangover, and it's ridiculous to even think about it. But I hate the comparison of realtors to doctors and lawyers. I'm just using that as an illustration because, guys, we're not doctors and lawyers. We're just not.
You certainly need to treat yourself as a professional. You own this business. So be professional. Treat your business like a business. But therein lies the point. Businesses are not 24/7 operations. And if a business happens to be open 24/7, they're not staffed by the same people for all 24 hours.
Right.
They have a shift of people there, Yeah, you can call the police at 2 a.m. and somebody's going to answer 911, but not the same person that answered at 12, at noon the day before, right? That's not how it works, right? Like there's shift work. And all I was going to say was that you can actually be harming the reputation of your business by being someone who is available all the time, because you're letting yourself be used potentially. And that means you probably didn't set great expectations, and you haven't positioned yourself as a professional, as a consultant or an advisor. You're doing whatever it takes to get that commission check, and so someone who knows that that's what you're doing is just using you if they're doing
Right.
that, and they would never. Like I went out of town this weekend with my wife, and I texted my active clients and said, after 11:30 this morning, I'm not available this weekend. Here's the last update that I'm going to give you. Here's what I need from you or what you needed from me, and I'll see you next Monday. Like I'll reach back out then.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't lose a single client because do you think your clients want time off?
Exactly.
Do you think, do you think that they expect to be able to call their kid's teacher at 9:30 at night on a homework question? No. You know why? Because the kids' teachers are there from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's why. So set the expectations right. You do not have to be available all the time.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. Like, and I'm pretty available as a real estate agent. So if somebody texts me, and I don't have anything going on, I'll respond to them. Mm-hmm. But I make it very clear, up front, these are my working hours. If you need anything on a Saturday or Sunday, it's by appointment only. You got to give me some notice. I've got young kids, things like that. So, and it works out really good. I got really, really good advice from a lender buddy named Randall Mills out here in Phoenix, and early on, and he was like, "Listen, man, you're not a cop anymore. Nobody's going to die, right? Mm-hmm. There is nothing in real estate that's an emergency. Everything can be handled the next day." Yep. So I took that to heart and have pretty much used it. Like I had a client panicking. They're trying to write a new build contract. They didn't take me into the office or whatever, but they got everything worked out. And they were like, "Hey, we need this, this, and this." "Okay, I'll get it to you tomorrow around lunchtime."
Yeah.
And they're fine
it's
with
so
it.
True.
Like, cool.
Everything in real estate is a business hours thing. It really is. The title companies work business hours. Lenders, the mortgage agencies are open during business hours, right? Like,
right.
You can set business hours for yourself. And so many people are busy chasing commission instead of connecting with clients the right way. Like we teach, go back and this is episode 20, but we've got 19 other episodes to explain, sort of like build this in. And you don't have to do that. You can set expectations on the front end and say, "Hey, listen, here's the promises that I make to you. Here's the way that I work. Here's how I update and stay connected to my clients," and set the expectations. And if they don't agree to that, well then, do you want a client that's going to run you ragged? And then what happens off of that client that runs you ragged? How do you think their referral business is going to be for you? Do you think they're going to refer more people to you who aren't going to run you ragged? No, because they run in those circles, and that was their experience. And they're going to tell their next friends, "Yeah, he was available all the time. Like we had the dumbest questions at 10:30 at night, so we just called him." Like, oh great, that's the kind of guy I want. That's the kind of business you're going to build. So you want to avoid that nonsense. Set your boundaries, and be honest about them, and then live into those expectations. If you say you're available during those hours, well then be available, right? Like be responsive, and live up to the expectations that you set. But you don't have to be ridiculous, man. You can turn the phone off. You can do it. We coach agents to have at least 1 hour every day phone free. Like, Set it down, man. Turn it off. Don't be chained to this thing. It's just a myth that you have to be chained to your cell phone. And I'm a big believer, and we got to wrap up, but I'm a big believer that the businesses that are going to thrive in the next 3 to 5 years won't be businesses that just turn the keys over to AI, but double down on personal, real-world connections. I think people are going to thrive by that. In a world full of AI, there's only one you. Right. Every other agent in your market is going to be having AI write their next Facebook post, and you could just be you, and you'd be surprised what might happen in your business. So those are 3 quick lies that realtors tell themselves. I'm sure there's more. If you can think of other lies, drop them in the comments. Tell us some lies that you've maybe believed in your business, but that when you believe the truth, it helped you make a breakthrough. Maybe we'll share some of those on a future episode. But enough for us. We try to keep these things around 20 minutes, and this is maybe above that. So we better get out of here before we overstay our welcome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.